Every day we drink coffee without a second thought. In fact, the numbers are staggering. It's 2.25 billion cups worldwide, but most of the bean never even reaches our mugs. Behind every latte or espresso sits a mountain of discarded coffee grounds that usually end up rotting in landfill and releasing methane. Then multiply that across the global coffee trade, and you have tens of millions of tons of wasted plant matter each year. Yet locked inside that so-called waste, antioxidants and oils and bioactive compounds with huge potential. So what if, instead of treating it as rubbish, we could turn coffee leftovers into valuable materials? From beauty ingredients to packaging even. In beauty, the word natural has become a shortcut for eco-friendly, but it's not that simple. Sourcing natural ingredients can still drive land conversion and pesticide use and waste. And one of the biggest overlooked issues is what actually happens to the parts of the plant that we don't use. Think of the pulp, the husks, the shells, the seeds, those parts that never make it into our cosmetic products. Those bits are often dumped or burned, creating carbon emissions and lost economic opportunity. So what if we could redesign the system so that those byproducts then become high-performance ingredients instead of environmental liabilities? After all, each new miracle oil or extract often means more farmland, more fertilizer, more shipping. Meanwhile, mountains of agricultural side streams are literally thrown away. And that is why in today's episode, we're going to turn our attention to one of the world's most familiar crops, which is coffee. You might drink it every morning, but hardly anyone realizes that 80% of each bean is wasted in your cup. So today we'll uncover how that waste can be transformed into powerful cosmetic ingredients and why your daily brew could hold the key to a more circular beauty industry. Welcome to Green Beauty Conversations, in which I challenge the beauty industry to become sustainable, champion independent and green beauty, and encourage you to join me in making beauty better. I'm your host, Lorraine Dallmeier. I'm a chartered environmentalist, biologist, and the CEO of award-winning online organic cosmetic formulation school, Formula Botanica. We have tens of thousands of students in over 190 countries around the world who study with us to become organic beauty formulators and entrepreneurs. Visit our website at formulabotanica.com to try our free online formulation course. And if you want to be the first person to know what's happening in green beauty, make sure you subscribe to this podcast in your favorite podcast app. So in today's episode, I'm joined by Cynthia Staats, the business development manager at Caffe Inc., which is a Dutch company turning the world's coffee waste into high-value ingredients for beauty and personal care and other industries too. So every year, 60 million tons of spent coffee grounds are thrown away, which is why Caffe Inc. is on a mission to rid the world of its coffee waste. They've started by capturing coffee waste from the Dutch market and transforming it into antioxidant-rich oils and gentle exfoliating powders, surfactants, and other active extracts. Cynthia works with cosmetic manufacturers and indie brands to bring these upcycled materials to new product launches, showing how everyday waste can become the next generation of natural beauty ingredients. Hi, Cynthia. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. And how are you?
I'm good. And I'm really interested in what you guys do. So let's start with that.
Yeah.
Could you please introduce yourself and could you please introduce Caffe Inc. for our listeners?
Yes, of course. I'm Cynthia Staats. I'm the business development manager of Caffe Inc. Before I worked at a natural cosmetic manufacturer in a commercial role. So I was already really interested by the natural cosmetics, but it's not always good for our planet. And then Caffe Inc. came on my path. And it was a match made in heaven, I think. So at Caffe Inc., we collect spent coffee grounds from the area of Amsterdam. We are located in Amsterdam. And we transform them in high-value ingredients for the personal care market.
Amazing. Well, we're going to look in more depth at all of this. But let's start with why coffee waste? You know, what drew Caffe Inc. specifically to that specific ingredient?
Our founder, Eva Luna, she's from Costa Rica. So she already saw from a young age the problem with coffee and especially the coffee waste. And she found out that there is still a lot of high value in the coffee waste left. Because if you drink your cup of coffee, only 20% of the coffee bean comes in your cup of coffee. And the remaining 80% is regarded as waste. And you can imagine it's a water extraction when you make your own cup of coffee. So not everything goes out of the coffee bean. So there's still a lot of value properties in the coffee waste left.
And how did the founder of Eva Luna, I think you said her name was, how did she come to this realization?
I think it's kind of a funny story, but she did studies in chemist, of course, and she first found out that there are still colorants left for textile dyeing or making ink out of it. So we were first called Caffe Inc with a K, from Caffe Inc, and later on she found out that there was still a lot of properties in the waste left, and that you can also extract an oil, and that this has amazing benefits for the skin and the hair. And then she started to also develop ingredients for the personal care.
That's fascinating. I mean, the idea of making ink out of coffee is innovative as well, but the personal care market obviously is huge. So I think what you guys are doing is very exciting. I think it's also fascinating what you said about, 20% of the bean is extracted into your drink and the remaining 80% stays behind. Can you give me an idea of the scale of coffee waste globally then? Because this must be a huge waste, basically.
It's 60 million tons of coffee waste annually worldwide. So 60 million tons.
That is insane. 60 million tons globally of spent coffee grounds after people have made drinks with them, basically.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So obviously you guys started in Amsterdam, which, is only a small area, but how much are you collecting in that region then?
For now, we are collecting annually 80 tons to 90 tons for 2025. Last year, we did 45 tons, and we are aiming 5,000 tons to process, and that will be around 10% of the coffee waste from the Netherlands, but only from companies. So we are not going for the households.
Well, who knows where things could go in the future. But I mean,
maybe
the Dutch drink a lot of coffee, so that might certainly be possible. So you talked briefly about ink. Tell me more about the personal care products that you can make then from coffee waste. What are we looking at?
Yes. So first, if we receive the spent coffee grounds from the different companies, we first pre-treat them, because otherwise everything is growing on top. You can also see it yourself in your machine. If you keep it for a few days, there's a lot of mold on the coffee grounds. So that's something we don't want. So that's the first round. And then we extract the oil. This is a clean label extraction without solvents. And in this oil, there is still caffeine left, a lot of antioxidants, vitamin E, polyphenols, melanoidins, omega-3, omega-6. So it's really a rich oil. And we have also our refined oil. It's a little bit less in smell and color, but still stronger in antioxidants than, for example, argan oil. And then after extracting the oil, we still have a powder left. It's a really low moisture, a low oil content powder. You can use it as a scrub in a personal care. So I think it's a good alternative for the microplastic scrubs. And from this powder, we also extract our antioxidant extract. And this one is a water-soluble extract. So we have our oil and a water-soluble extract, also high in antioxidant and caffeine. We also derived from the coffee oil a surfactant. So it's a bio-based upcycled coffee surfactant. And we have made our booster. So we added vitamin C to our coffee oil, because together with the ferulic acid, caffeine, and vitamin C, I think it's a strong triangle and an anti-aging effect for your skin.
That's fascinating that you can extract so many different types of cosmetic ingredients just from waste coffee. That's amazing.
Only the beginning.
Yeah. How did you guys discover all of the fact that you could get a surfactant? I mean, I sort of get that you understand you can make scrub particles out of spent coffee. You understand that you can probably get some oil out of it. But I mean, the surfactant, where did that come from?
Yes, I think our R&D director is a really smart guy, PhD, and he is really, his knowledge is mostly in food oil. So he knows everything. He knows everything from the oil. So he comes up with some ideas. Oh, this is possible. And then I'm checking a little bit the market, if it's also interesting for the market. So every day he's coming with nice ideas. I'm like, is this even possible? But yes, it is. Yeah.
I love it. Everyone needs a mad scientist in their team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd love to paint a picture of what this looks like behind the scenes, because you said you collected 80 tons of coffee this year. You want to get to 5,000, where you're collecting 10% of spent coffee grounds in the Netherlands, at least from companies. Mm-hmm. First of all, what sort of companies and organizations are you working with to collect the coffee?
Yeah, companies like Schiphol. So that's our airports, universities, hospitals, places where people drink a lot of coffee. And we have our logistic partners, let's say, that collect it from there and bring it to our facility. Because there are also some quality requirements, of course, how to collect the spent coffee grounds.
What does that look like? How do you collect spent coffee grounds?
Mostly separation. So it's important that not other waste is in the same bin and airtight and fast. It needs to go to our facility fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Not waiting for months or something.
No, I get it. I mean, just for the listeners, if you haven't ever flown through Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, it is one of the biggest airports in the world. Mm-hmm. You can literally fly almost everywhere. It is an enormous transport hub. So the fact that you got those guys on board, they must alone account for an enormous amount of those 80 tons, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, we are doing now 5% of them, I think. So that's also for us a really nice partner, because we can scale up together. We can hopefully one day we will do all the spent coffee grounds from Schiphol.
Yeah, wow. Well, I love it. I love the ambition. So then you go and collect all these spent coffee grounds. What happens next? Where do you take it?
In our production facility, there's all the production going on. So we have a lot of machinery. Yeah, we do it all in-house in Amsterdam North.
What did it take to put all of that together? Because that must have been a big undertaking as well.
It was. I think it's a few years. And I joined Caffe Inc. more than 1 year ago, and then it was just finalized. So I hear the stories how it was before, but I only know it with this big plant, yes.
Well, how big is it? Can you describe it for us?
So we have, of course, a logistic part where all the spent coffee grounds come in, and we have two parts in our facility. It's downstairs. We have our food grade area, because we also extract oil for the food industry. It's a little bit stricter, I think, than the cosmetic grade, we call it. And then we have our cosmetic grade, and we have also our refinement machines over there. Yeah, and then we have a big lab with our R&D director and his team that is always busy to see if there's more value to get out of the spent coffee grounds.
Amazing. Yes. I would imagine the whole factory smells very strongly of coffee as well.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Amazing. So talk to me a little bit more about the performance benefits of coffee-derived ingredients. Are they better for the skin? Like, how does this work? Because you talked about all the different chemical compounds in coffee. I mean, you mentioned the omegas, the antioxidants, ferulic acid, but how do these ingredients really benefit the skin?
So let's talk about the oil, because everything is still inside the oil, so it's the same for the extract. Yeah, it's an anti-aging product, nourishing the skin. It boosts the skin circulation. It stimulates repairing the skin. I need to say it correctly. It protects against external influences, and also for on cellulite because of the caffeine. And it also has a lot of benefits for the hair. And also the caffeine stimulates hair growth. It gives hair shine. Reduce frizziness. I would say the best oil there is for hair and skin, but also for the body. And what I said, it's 10 times more stronger than argan oil.
Exciting ingredients to work with. When
Yes.
you're working with upcycled ingredients, obviously the color, the scent, those can be challenging. And obviously coffee typically has a very dark brown look to it, which some people are totally cool with in their cosmetics and others aren't. Obviously, some people love the smell of coffee. I'm afraid I'm one of those people who can't stand the smell of coffee. I'm a very bad Dutch person. So how do you guys handle the color and the fragrance aspect?
Yeah, so we also developed a refined oil, but because we want to produce high value ingredients, we want to make the waste more value. So for us, we don't want to get everything out of the oil. because we can make it white if we want, but then it's like a empty oil. So we found a way that we have reduced the color and the smell with 50% more or less, but it's still high in antioxidants as, for example, argan oil. So you still have the benefits of the oil, but the color is less and the smell is also less.
Interesting. Yeah. And of course, that makes perfect sense, because when you strip the color and the fragrance out, you're also stripping out all the beneficial botanical compounds, which is, of course, what the mainstream beauty industry has based its entire model on, which is why their white, bland, boring products are really just very bland and boring. But that's a different podcast.
It is.
So where can people buy the ingredients from Caffe Inc? And do you guys have minimum order quantities?
Yes, we have minimum order quantities, but you can buy them directly from us if you can handle it. But I think that's a good thing for the UK market. We have Inky Seller. She's providing smaller MOQs for the indie brands. Yeah, so for the UK listeners, I think that's a great option.
Absolutely. And Inky Seller is actually run by a Formula Botanica graduate called Kezia. And for everyone else, because this podcast is listened to literally all over the world, so how could they buy some of the coffee-derived ingredients that you're producing?
You can contact us at Caffe Inc. We have a distributor only in Italy for now. I'm sure it will be more, but for now only Italy. So for the rest of the world, let's say, you can contact Caffe Inc.
And what are your MO?
For the oil, it's 5, and for the powder, it's 10. Extract is also 5. Yes, 10 kilos. So it's not much, not high. No.
So you guys are processing many tens of tons already. You're at 80 tons. You have ambitions to go to 5,000, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. What does that sort of scaling actually involve?
The scaling is mostly, for us, it's important that the input and the output are in balance. So if that's out of balance, we will scale up, because the supply is not a problem. Our way of extracting is also really scalable. So that's also not a problem. It's more that you need to find a balance and then scale up and find the balance again.
It's exciting, though. It'll be interesting to see how you guys handle the extra thousands of tons. How do you make sure that the quality is consistent when effectively your feedstock is waste and you're getting it from so many sources?
This was one of our most difficult things the last months, years. So we did a lot of research on this, but because it's always a mix of the different inputs, but we are working with the same companies all of the time. That's why we are not going to the households, because then the difference between quality of the coffee waste will be too big. So now we know all the time it's more or less the same. We have our parameters, of course, and if it's in the range, it's okay. But we did a lot of testing on different kind of batches, and it's more or less the same.
Okay. The ingredients that Caffe Inc. produces are Cosmos Natural certified, I think, right? But obviously not organic. And I think it's important for people to understand how hard that would be in order to get organic certification. Yeah. Can you walk us through that a little bit?
For us, we are aiming a world without coffee waste. So we don't want to make a difference between organic or non-organic coffee waste, because also we think that organic waste is already a little bit better than non-organic waste. And we want to solve the issue of the coffee waste. So if we are excluding a quality, that would not make sense for us. So we are not organic.
Yeah, no, I understand. And I think that makes perfect sense, because your mission of having a world without coffee waste is bigger than excluding all of those different feedstocks. So I completely understand. But I think it's important for people to hear this as well, because it's very easy to go, well, it's not organic, so I don't want to buy it. But sometimes the sustainability goal might be more important.
Exactly.
You guys are you're working in personal care, you're working in food. You talked about ink at the beginning, colorants, even biomaterials. So how far could coffee go as a feedstock? What else can you do with coffee?
Yeah, so indeed in biomaterial is a filler from biomaterials like floor panels or planters that can also go in the ground because it's biodegradable. So this is kind of a solution. And in the end, it also goes to mushroom growers. So they grow mushrooms on our powder, and they use it for replacement for the meat in food products. Yes.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yes.
Do you think there could ever be a future where the cosmetics industry even makes its packaging from coffee waste?
Yes, I think so, because you already see the mushroom packaging. So that's possible with the mushroom growth on our coffee powder, and for sure the ink. We have the ink. It's also possible to print it on paper, and we are already testing a little bit with making paper, but this is a really difficult one. But this can happen. That will be amazing.
It would. I mean, imagine a product in the future for the real coffee lovers out there. And of course, there are billions of them, where you have a product that's made of coffee-derived oils, extracts, surfactants, all sorts of things in a bottle that's made out of coffee waste, printed with ink derived from coffee waste. That would be very, very cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And I know all the listeners are thinking, oh, here's a brand idea. I can do this.
Yeah.
So where do you guys hope that Caffe Inc. will be in 5 years' time? You know, what change would you like to see in personal care with the ingredients that you're making?
Hopefully, coffee oil is not a niche product anymore for the cosmetic industry, and people, because sometimes you have like moments that an oil is popular, for example the castor oil. People are like, oh, this is I hope one day this will happen with the coffee oil, and people will see how amazing this oil is and how much value is inside the oil. So that's for our oil. And for the cosmetic industry, I hope that upcycled is the way to go, because I think it's important.
Exciting, and exciting to see where you guys will go with it as well. Cynthia, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. Where can people get in touch with Caffe Inc. and come and buy your ingredients?
They can go to our website, to caffeinc.nl, and they will find all the contact information there. And we are also on LinkedIn, of course, and Instagram. But it's best to go to our website.
Amazing. We will put all of those links in the show notes below this podcast, so go and check out Caffe Inc. And as Cynthia said, Caffe Inc.'s ingredients are also stocked in the UK by Inkisella, which is one of the Formula Botanica graduates. And I might see if I can get Kezia on the podcast actually as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, Cynthia. It's been really lovely chatting to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode. Have you ever used a beauty product that contains coffee? Leave us a comment on our social channels, as both the Formula Botanica team and I love hearing from you. And if you want to hear some more episodes about the topics we discussed today, please do delve back into the podcast archives. There are so many great episodes to go and listen to. And some good examples include episode 59, in which I interviewed Anna Brightman of Upcircle, who also works with upcycled coffee grounds and many other upcycled ingredients. Or episode 211, in which I spoke to Harry McIlwraith of the Upcycled Beauty Company about all of the fascinating waste streams that they're working with in beauty. There's a wealth of information in our old episodes, and I do encourage you to go back and listen to them. Thank you for joining Cynthia and I for this latest episode of Green Beauty Conversations. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave us a 5-star review so that other people can enjoy these conversations too. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever your favorite podcast app is, and stay tuned for the next episode. Follow Formula Botanica at Formula Botanica on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. We're everywhere. And come and give me a follow at Lorraine Dallmeier on Instagram and LinkedIn. Visit our website at formulabotanica.com and sign up for our free online formulation course today.